Dave, so excited that you could be here with us. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about Dave's Gourmet.
Yeah, so I'm an ugly guy from California. I've been doing this for like 30 years. I had a restaurant in College Park, Maryland, and we had a lot of drunk people come in. And I don't like drunk people. So I made really hot sauces to screw around with them. And somehow I figured out how to make the hottest sauce in the world. And so we made this sauce. We burned a lot of drunks. We got banned from the National Fiery Food Show. Some guy had a minor respiratory incident. New York Times picked up on it. Became like a media storm. And then, a spicy food company became a sauce company, became a specialty food company. And, I had it for almost 30 years and sold it a year and a half ago.
Right.
But it was amazing, like all sorts of crazy media and awards and all sorts of amazing people, and getting to like have an idea and just bring it to life and see consumers either like grimace or love it or all the various reactions. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you summarized it right there. Decades for you of experience, developing your product, marketing, selling, being at shows like this, being a part of SFA, and now, receiving that award last night and looking back after, all the years of experience that you've had. What does it feel like for you? What are your thoughts?
It's kind of surreal because, you're used to coming to these shows, but you're really in the show and you're setting up your booth and you're really thinking of all your goals and you have a bunch of people to manage and really like in the weeds to some degree. Here you come and you walk around and you're sort of like floating through with no responsibility. And I also like do a lot of volunteer work, so I mentor other companies, mostly like companies that are disadvantaged and all that. But so I can see sort of like their wide eyes and they're starting out and all the things that they don't know that took a long time to learn. So it's kind of fun. I mean, it's a great atmosphere and it's good seeing everyone's enthusiasm and all the new ideas. And but the industry's become, it's pretty competitive. So people really need to be sharper now. There's a lot of money in the industry, so it's competitive in that sense too. I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of young in a way, so I've got more to do.
I know. You didn't come on stage with a walker or anything. I mean, you still got some life left to you.
Yeah, I'm sort of halfway between coming on stage with Johnny Walker and coming on stage with a walker. I'm like in the middle part between the two.
That's very well said. Dave, I love what you were just mentioning. It's a new world. Like, there's a lot of things that people have to think about. It's gotten really competitive. I couldn't help but just realize just now, I want to ask you, and you said too, walking the floors and without a responsibility, you're not setting up a booth anymore. But seeing these exhibitors, and knowing what you know because you've been through it, knowing that they worked hard to set up their booth and planning and strategizing how much inventory should they bring and who should they target. What do you think are, the top 1, 2, 3 things you think they should be focusing on at this show, in when they're displaying their product, when they're trying to be out there, be the best that they can present themselves?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think everyone should focus on in and out of the show, because I'm a product person, so I see things through a product lens, is there's a lot of items. I mean, every item by its nature is mostly average, because that's what average means. And so a lot of people really need to look at their item through an objective lens, through the consumer's eyes, and say, is it really that special? Is there really a reason for the consumer to buy my item versus the 17,000 other items out there?
Exactly.
And for most people, the answer is no. And if it's no, then it's very expensive to market an average item. So what can you do to make your item stronger? And that's the first thing you need to do. And so that's true at trade shows. That's true everywhere else. At trade shows, I mean, I was talking to someone who's coming to the show, and I was like, "Oh, what's your goal?" And you can see their eyes like go wide, and they have no idea. So come with a goal. You after particular accounts, or you after retail buyers? You're just trying to get your name out there. So if you're going to come to a trade show, have some goals, know what they are, figure out how you're going to achieve them. And then the other thing is a trade show is a people event. I mean, it's a food show, so it's food forward, but it's really about people. So you need someone in your booth who is extroverted or can be extroverted for periods of time, who's willing to go out and read badges and say hi to people and talk to them and bring them in and really introduce them to your company and its story and its benefits in a very positive way.
Absolutely. Thanks for those insights, Dave. And I do want to ask you, Again, even though, you have mentioned, you have since sold your company recently to Gourmerica, was it?
Gourmerica.
Yeah, to Gourmerica. But, again, as you said, you still have an eye, on the industry. Your eye is still sharp, seeing the new landscape. Let's talk social media. As I mentioned to you earlier, the Wall Street Journal, they had an interesting article in which Dave's Gourmet was a little involved. They were talking about TikTok and how that is actually directly impacting companies in terms of how they're turning over the manufacturing and the selling of products based on TikTok trends. It's like the whole R&D and distribution manufacturing process sped up times 10. And they brought up one example of Chef P's pink sauce, which Dave's Gourmet, the current state of Dave's Gourmet management, they wanted to invest in that. And they put it out, real quick. I think it was on like Walmart shelves. Dave, what are your thoughts on this new trend of companies working overtime to respond to these types of social media trends? Do you think it's worth continuing? Do you think it's something too risky for companies to pursue specialty food products? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you look at celebrities and celebrity athletes, I mean, they're all making a fortune now on having businesses on the side, whether it's a tequila company or a body care company or a food product. So that's not going to stop anytime soon. So, whether you like it or don't like it, it's happening. And, before it was all about the food item. And then, you marketed it and you did what you could, but you had to have a great food item. Now it's celebrity forward in a lot of cases. So you have the fame and you fill in the food item to make a business out of it. It's, from a food guy perspective, I don't love it, but I do really like it if the food item is solid. Mm-hmm. If they really care enough to create a very good food item that can stand on its own, but it also happens to have the benefit of this amazing celebrity connection. So, like Dave's Gourmet, with the pink sauce, and now they're launching a sauce with Mama Kingston. So another celebrity-related item. But that's a very solid item. It's a very high-quality item. So, as long as it's thought through to that level, so it's a real business with a really good item, then I think the celebrity connection is terrific. I think that if you talk to people that do these celebrity-related businesses, one of the cautionary tales is if the celebrity just lends their name and maybe posts twice a year, it doesn't really do that much. You need them to have really their heart into it and to be really trying and really helping. And in those cases, like Once Upon a Farm and other things like that,
great
you
brand,
see,
yeah.
Great item, great people, great celebrity who's really involved. Then it's a super winning formula.